Hi there, guys. My name is Constantine, and I am the project manager for SMS and Viber service here at SendPulse. And yeah, now you can actually tell how the average person who deals with SMS looks like. I deal with SMS for like 7 or even 8 years for now, and there is a lot of stuff to tell, but we are kind of cleared to 30 minutes. So, shall we begin about that? Today we're talking about SMS, about its growth dynamics, how that can be used in your service, and what actually difficulties one may face when trying to implement the SMS communication service in their on their platform or in their service. So, shall we actually begin? Just let me share the presentation with you. So, why SMS? I'd like to actually begin with some, say, history. First message, the SMS message, not actually the SMS, the text message, was sent on December the 3rd in 1992. And that was not completely the SMS because there was no idea as SMS at that time. That was the basic text message which was sent from the PC, from the kind of PC at that time, to a mobile handset using the actual paging service which was available at that time. And in the year 1993, it was only imagined as a standalone service. I mean, it as SMS. And only in the year 1999, the actual SMS service was presented as a standalone texting service. But that was worth mentioning that just in 3 years, but by the year 2002, more than 250 billion messages were sent worldwide. Nowadays, more than 2 trillion messages are being sent every year only across the United States, which approximately gives us about 6 million of the messages being sent daily across the United States of America only. But about 5 or even 7 years ago, a lot of marketing companies and standalone marketers predicted the so-called death of the SMS service as the mean of communication. That prediction was made 4 or 5 years ago. Here is the simple graph which proves those guys wrong. These are two graphs from the year 2020 and 2021, which actually showed us that the SMS are not even nearly dead. Most importantly, this graph shows us that not only the old companies which are used to using the SMS continue using those, but also lots of new companies do implement the SMS as a means of communication on their services and platform, because that just works. That SMS are simple and they work as they are. The main competitor, which kind of pauses this exact growth graph, are the instant messaging applications, say WhatsApp or Viber or Line or WeChat for Asia. All of those messengers do somehow invade the territory which was occupied by the SMS service. So here is the same graph for Viber growth. Yeah, it does grow, but not as dramatical as SMS, because everything is kind of new, and it takes much more efforts to integrate the Viber on your platform than to do the same with the SMS. So why exactly the SMS? What is the actual profit? A couple of slides ago, there were a couple of mentions of the deliveries and delivery rates. You should know that the average American uses a mobile phone for 3 days every year. That actually gives us the following numbers: that about 90% of all of the text messages are being read within 3 to 5 seconds after those messages get delivered to the handset. 90%, that is a lot. And more than 97% of the same messages are seen within 3 seconds, not actually read. Also, it is worth mentioning that the SMS is the easiest way to implement the time-sensitive messaging on your platform. I mean, the balance notifications, I don't know, one-time passwords, all that stuff. It basically takes up to 6 hours for your average IT guy to implement the SMS sending and delivery service to your platform. And it actually takes a lot more time to do the same with any kind of instant messaging application. So this is it. That's why the SMS are the easiest and actually are the cheapest, all costs considered. I mean, the development of the service as well. There are basically 4 steps you need to take to send out your first SMS campaign. You go ahead and you top up your balance at any kind of SMS service provider. In our case, it's SendPulse. You upload your contacts lists. You send the test campaign. That is important to make sure that your messages do not get blocked, neither with your SMS provider nor with mobile carriers in general. And the last step is actually to send out the SMS campaign, your first SMS campaign. That works in most cases. There are some step outs from this list, and I am going to talk about them a little bit later. Right now, I'll take a couple of seconds, actually seconds, and I'll show you how you can do that. I mean, you may set up your first SMS campaign on the basis of SendPulse. So this is the main page of your members area at SendPulse. Of course, to reach this very step, the very first step, you got to be registered with SendPulse. If you do not have an account with SendPulse, go get one already. It's free of charge and really easy to have one. Just your email, password, and a couple of introduction emails to receive. That's it. So as you get to your personal page, first thing you want to do is you want to top up your balance. There is no actual need to top up your balance with a lot of funds. A couple of bucks will do, just in order to test how SMS work for you, for your company, and for your audience. To do that, you go to the top right corner of the screen and you hit this button over here. After that, you hit Add Funds here, and you will be provided with lots of actually means to transfer some funds to your SendPulse account. As soon as the funds appear in your account, you may go ahead and continue to step 2. That is creating the mailing list, your first actual mailing list. To do that, in the top left corner of the screen right here, there is a button Mailing Lists. You hit it. Now you hit the button Create Mailing List right here, the green one. It actually asks you to hit it. Is the green one the only one? You enter any name you like right here, and you create your first mailing list. Oh, okay, I have one. Okay, let it be any name you like one. So at this point, the mailing list is created, but it is empty. It has 0 contacts. There's a bunch of options for you to upload your contacts to your first mailing list. So the first one and the easiest one is to upload the file. You basically pick upload file and you choose the file from your PC and you upload it to our system. Note that all of the phone numbers, if you are interested in SMS only, if you're not uploading emails, or even if you're uploading emails, all of the phone numbers should be entered in international phone format. That is important for all of the mobile carriers and all of the SMS aggregators like SendPulse company. So for United States, it's +1. For Ukraine, it's a +30, 380, 380. For Brazil, it's +55, and all this stuff, so on and so forth. The other option is to copy and paste your contacts right here. Is basically you copy all the phone numbers you want to send the message to, and you paste them right here. Or else you may import the contacts from some kind of other marketing solutions, which is and the whole list of supported marketing solutions is right here. To do that, you basically pick the marketing service you're currently using, and you grab the API key from the members area of that service and you paste it right here. After that, you basically hit get mailing list, and we will send the API request to your current marketing solution to get the mailing list from there. So as soon as you're done with that, you might want to go ahead and create your first SMS campaign as is. So to do that, you hit this button over here and you hit Send SMS. First and the main one, actually the most tricky one, is entering your sender ID. We'll talk about that, about the sender IDs and the registrations of those a little bit later, but to test, to show you how that works, I do have the one pre-registered right here. After that, you'll be able to choose the template if you've created one previously. I'll show you in the end of this demonstration on how to add the template. Or you basically enter the text right here manually. Also, there is a checkbox here which says unsubscribe link. That adds the URL to your text message. It consumes the number of symbols. You might want to notice that. And all of your recipients will receive the unique URL right here, using which they will be able to get unsubscribed from your mailing list if they are no longer interested in receiving your SMS. The pre-last step is actually adding the phone numbers. You can add them manually here, starting with a new line for each number, or you basically use the previously created mailing lists from the mailing list tab right there. You choose the mailing list, and the last step is to schedule sending. You may send the SMS campaign immediately, or you may start sending the your messages out at some point of time. We choose immediately, we hit the send button, and the message gets sent to moderation team. So as for the templates, that uses a couple of seconds to show you. We go to service settings right here, senders and SMS templates. And there is a button here, SMS templates. Here, you will be able to add the template of your own. Currently, this is actually a beta, so it only saves the name of the template and its text. In order for you as a customer not to enter the same text over and over again each time you send a message. But for the future, we're planning to add the pre-moderation protocol here, so you'll be able to get your message moderated by our moderation team one time, and all of the further sendings will need no moderation at all. So that will speed up the sending process like by 5 to 15 minutes. That is actually a lot. That is basically your first SMS was successfully sent, and you should get it delivered to your handset by now. So we shall continue with some possible difficulties which you might face while actually working with the SMS for the first time. So the first, and I'd say the most frequent difficulty you may face, is sender ID registration. First of all, and the main point I want to point out in this slide is that if you are local to the country where you're actually sending the messages to, in 95% of cases, you will face no issues at all. That might be explained by the simple fact that you are local, you know the local laws, and no issues should be faced from the side, either the SMS service provider or the mobile carrier itself. So these are some facts about, like general facts about sender registration for different countries. There are some terms here, but I'll explain them as we go. So for the United States and all of the Americas, actually, there is no way to register the Alpha Sender ID. That should be noted, and you should understand that. There is no physical ability to use that on the mobile carrier towers, on the hardware. So what is Alpha Sender ID? That's a fancy name for any kind of sender ID which is spelled in English letters. So each and every message which is being sent to United States will be actually delivered from either short code or a long code. Long code is also a fancy name, which means the phone number. So short codes or long codes will be used as a sender ID to get your message delivered. From time to time, it may be just random codes. But on the other hand, the United States allows, like for more than a year now, they allow registering the so-called 10 DLC setup. The 10 DLC is basically the fixed long code, the phone number, which you purchase from the mobile carrier, and you will be able to send all your messages, I mean the one-time passwords, both transactional and service messages, using one exact phone number. That gives the opportunity to the recipients of your message to add that exact phone number to their contact lists, I mean on their handsets, and to know for sure that all of the further messages are being delivered from one exact company. As per Europe, almost all of the Europe supports the alpha sender ID, I mean the IDs which are spelled in letters, in English letters. Either by default, so basically you enter the sender ID and it gets delivered as you enter it, or with a simple registration procedure. The simple one is basically sending to mobile carrier the requested sender ID, the website of your company, maybe the legal name of your company, and a couple of examples of the content of your message, which you are actually about to send to your recipients. And in a couple of working days, you basically get that sender ID registered and you are ready to go with that. Africa. To my mind, Africa is one of the most difficult countries to get your sender ID registered in. That is actually my mind, as I'm not located in Africa. Again, if you're local to the country, no issues will be faced. What is the main difficulty is some countries in Africa do request some legal documents from you as the person who wants to register the sender ID, which cannot be received anywhere abroad. So if you are the international company based, say, in Canada or somewhere, you will physically have no idea, no way to get that document because you're not local. But there is a solution for that in the last step of my presentation right here. As per post-Soviet countries, usually there is a really strict differentiation between international and local content there. Basically, there is no way for the international company send the SMS using the national delivery route if the company is not like local. That's it. Because lots of documents, lots of verifications are created in order not to provide the international companies with cheap delivery routes. And yes, the main difference between the international and national delivery routes in such countries is the price. The SMS sent by national delivery route may be up to 10 times less expensive. To sum all this up, there is nothing actually difficult in getting your sender ID registered. But if you're using the SMS for the first time, and you're actually only trying to use it as a means of communication in your company, and you do not want to invest lots of money and headache into that, almost all of the so-called difficult countries do provide the generic sender IDs. The generic sender ID is basically the sender ID which was pre-registered on the mobile carrier site and which is general. Say info or SMS or promotion or any other general word is used as a sender ID, and those are occupied by mobile carrier. So like no private company may use that. But if you pay, you are going to use it and your messages will be delivered just fine. So no need to have all this headache for the first time you use the SMS. Just use the generic sender ID and see how it goes. So what are the difficulties do we actually face while trying to use the SMS for the first time? Local regulations and content blockings. The answer to that is pretty simple. Just use your common sense. If you are local to the country, you should know its laws. If you are not local to the country, just Google for those laws. As simple as that. There are there is different types of traffic which is allowed in one country and basically forbidden in another. Let's say medicines. Like, it is actually illegal to promote the medicine over the SMS using the SMS service in the United States, and it is strictly forbidden to do the same in Ukraine or Russia or Latvia, for example. Casinos are allowed in Taiwan, as far as I remember, and are strictly forbidden almost all over the world, all over the rest of the world. So just use your common sense. Do not promote drugs. Do not promote any other forbidden stuff, and you'll be just fine. No blocking issues will be faced neither from the mobile carrier side nor from your SMS provider side. The messages will be sent just fine. The last step is just an actual reminder for the domestic and international contents and traffic. This issue is closely connected to the topic of sender ID registration, because some countries do actually restrict the international companies, not just by lack of documentation, but basically, if you are foreign, you cannot get the sender ID, and that's it. But to try using the SMS, go get those generic sender IDs. If you have no idea how to use them, just drop us a message at support@sendpulse.com. I will provide you with all the information you need to start using the SMS at your company. To finalize the presentation and the whole speech of mine, I'd like to have a word about the RCS. That might be called as the future of the SMS, and was actually called as the future messaging protocol when it was introduced in the year 2007. And since then, RCS is not working. It actually does work in some on some mobile carriers in the United States, but it is not widely supported all over the world. That was really futuristic. The idea was actually ideal, because RCS was the next step of the development of the SMS as the feature. RCS is basically the native mobile application for instant messaging. So RCS would be the SMS, but interactive, like with buttons. You would be able to send the pictures, the videos, the audio files using the native built-in application in your mobile phone. The idea was great. And the main point is that RCS would not actually use internet, as we understand that. It would use the mobile network to deliver all those pics, not the internet connection itself. So even though you would have no internet connection in some foreign country, if you go abroad, you would still be able to use the RCS. But RCS, on the other hand, wanted the mobile carriers to update their software, and that is not the tricky part. But in some countries, RCS requests to update the hardware, and that costs a lot. And as per I understand right now, mobile carriers are kind of not interested in earning money on RCS because they do not understand how to put the price on that. On the other hand, the SMS are being sent every day by billions of people and get delivered, and they do deliver your idea to the recipients. So the whole point is, why not use the old working feature while waiting for the new exciting products? That's it. So thank you for your attention tonight. If you got any questions, hit me right now. And yeah, pricing aside, please, I'm not actually here to sell anything. Here is my contact information. If you need it for more time, just scroll back the video and you'll have it. And here is the girl. Name is Catherine, and you may book the demo on Calendly with her, and she'll be happy to provide you with all of the information you could possibly need for implementing the SMS on your side. Drop me an email with all of this information, or just pass the case to our support team at support@sendpulse.com. But thank you all for watching. Thanks for your time. I hope the information was new and anyhow interesting for you. Bye-bye.